Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Adult Project. Today, my guest is Harrison. He is 37 years old, he lives in Toronto, and he works as a janitor. In this episode, we talked about how hard it is to make a name for yourself in the movie industry. We also talked about how you can go through life or through adulthood with attention deficit. We also touched some points about relationships and finances. So I hope you like this first episode, and I hope you can tell me what you liked and what you didn't like in the comment below. Enjoy the conversation.
So after high school, I was really trying to figure out what I want to do in life. I had an interest in electronics and learning how things work. So I went to college to do electronics technical program, and I learned a lot of interesting stuff. It was challenging for me because I find like I have a learning disability, and it's hard for me to take in so much information at once. So it took a bit longer to finish, but I met some friends. I found college was interesting, and it was hard for me to find work in that field because of the economy, and also a lot of the jobs were like dangerous, like climbing electrical towers, and
Oh,
I found it not something that was easy for me to get into. So in the meantime, I started doing some volunteering at a TV studio, and because it's kind of similar to electronics with the broadcasting systems and the wiring, and
okay.
I found that was really interesting to learn how film works, and I got more into learning about the film industry. And throughout my early 20s, I was involved in a lot of different movie productions and television shows, doing the lighting and also as a background extra in some shows.
When you went to in electronics after high school, did you always knew that you were going to go in electronics, or did you kind of find out on the spot?
Like I had an interest in that since I was about 10 years old.
Okay.
I grew up in the 90s, so a lot of stuff was changing, and you saw like digital watches and pocket calculators, and I always was intrigued about how these things worked. It just seems like magic. You're pressing buttons and there's
Oh yeah.
words and numbers popping up, and it just bothered me that I didn't know how it worked. I had to learn how this is happening. I couldn't just accept that some digital device is working. So I really felt I wanted to figure out what it was that made it work.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because pressing on buttons and see the screen at first, like me too. I maybe not as early as you, but yeah, no, that's true. That electronics and the computers, they were, a magical thing kind of, because we didn't understand it. And okay, so from electronics, you went into kind of the movie scene. And did you like it better? Did you think did you find yourself a bit better in the movie?
I thought it was interesting because, again, it's something that is kind of a mystery. You just see a movie that's finished and you don't know anything about how it happens. And then when you get involved in behind the scenes, you start to learn all these interesting things about how they put the lights together, how they have people in charge of figuring out like the audio and the actors, and how everything comes together as a big unit. And I thought that was a cool thing also because working in a big team is fun because you get to know people. They're long hours for movie shoots, so you're there for like more than 12 hours and you get to know people. And I thought that was like a good environment for connecting with people. And
Yeah, I see. Oh, because everybody is kind of in the same movie or the same shooting. And was that your first job?
so I was not making a lot of money because if you're doing small films, a lot of times it's normal. They don't have a lot of money. Also making like $50 or something a day for a long day. So it's not like a real job that you could make money at. It's just I was looking for something to do and to try to learn some industry.
And what year was that? Just so we
I
were
was in like 2012.
2012. Okay, so yeah, well, I mean, it's been a long time already, but in terms of film industries, I guess it was still a bit advanced already. Yeah, and So in your first job, what kind of challenge did you face? Like what part of the professional field did you find hard?
It's hard because there's long hours, like more than 12 hours a day. You get very tired, and that's a challenge. Getting to be around a lot of people can be hard if you're have social anxiety.
So how did you grow with those relationships? Were you better and better with the days, or by the days?
I started to get the feel for it and feeling more comfortable on sets and knowing what to do and all that.
Is there a significant lesson that you think you got from that opportunity?
I think I just learned that like people who are passionate about something will put a lot of effort into what they're doing and not necessarily to make money. It's
Yeah.
just cool to see people who really care and put a lot of energy into making something work as a team, where in like a capitalist society you normally see that effort only once you're rewarded in the same way.
I see. Yeah. So yeah, if you're right in the artistic. Yeah, I see what you mean. There's really two type of people, and it's maybe less in the artistic world, but yeah, there's always those people that only come to work for the money, and they try to do the least amount of work and with the lowest quality, and then go home. And like you say, yeah, there's those people that just want to put their heart and souls into their work.
And of course there's also a spectrum in terms of that industry as well, because there are some films that are not artistic and are just a big budget movie trying to make money. And
Mm-hmm.
then you can still find people that don't really care and are also trying to get something out of it.
Yeah, definitely. Did you what? How can you have you learned to spot those people? Like, do they have something in common that you have found with the experience?
I guess just certain types of productions will attract certain people. Like when you get to the upper levels of productions, like the type of Netflix shows or things with a large budget, the types of people drawn to those projects would be more in line with someone looking to advance their career. Whereas if you're doing like an independent artsy film where there's not a lot of money, you'll meet different types of people who are not as motivated by the financial.
And after this movie path, did you continue into the movie field, or have you kind of?
Yeah, so I was in movies around until 2017 or 18. I
Mhm.
started trying to make my own productions and really learn how to break in terms of how things work with distribution and all that. And it got kind of messy with the kinds of people you meet. Like I'm saying, if someone's very motivated by money, they're not always the best people, and you can have a lot of scams and sketchy people, and that didn't sit with me. And I
Mhm.
wanted to get involved in something a bit more stable where I could find something meaningful to do that's not in this like glamorous world that is very competitive. So I started doing some work in cleaning, and I was a janitor for a few years, which I found was good.
Okay, why?
Some,
Why was it good?
yeah, just, I felt like I was helping society. Like if there's people need to clean up, and if there's dirt everywhere and there's garbage everywhere, then the society kind of falls apart. And I felt like I'm helping by cleaning things up, and I felt like that was a good purpose and something that's not as stressful as working long hours.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I'm guessing you're less in the team as well. So you less
Yeah.
anxiety.
Yeah, definitely a lot less stressful.
Yeah, I
And I
mean,
think I needed that after that.
definitely. So you can did you take that kind of as a break for just like from the competitive environment that you were in?
Yeah, exactly. It kind of
Mhm.
felt like too much.
Yeah, okay, I see what you mean. And then did you how did you change after that to from cleaning?
Yeah, I think I had a mind shift where I was always very ambitious and thinking about how to make like millions of dollars and get a lot of attention with the films. And
Yeah.
that kind of got really hectic and stressful when you really put all your energy into that for many years and you don't see a result. It can
Hmm.
be very difficult. And so I felt I needed some more stability in life. And this was something that was able to bring me some money.
Yeah, definitely. No, I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah, and I agree. I agree completely. And the ambition that you mentioned for making millions of dollars and stuff. It was it. Do you think that's something that came from you, or is that something that more came from like a society and what people like expect from you, or maybe I don't know your sometimes your parents or friends.
I think maybe from society and parents, I kind of felt I had to prove something
Mm-hmm.
because there's always this underlying talk about relating success with money. And I wanted to prove that I'm a smart guy who knows how to do things so I can figure out this film business and make money because I know all these things. So kind of I had this sense that I had the ability to understand how things worked. And if there's a challenge, I can figure it out. And I saw it as a challenge to figure out the film industry and prove to people that I can learn how things work. And
Be successful.
just like, yeah. And I think I did learn that, but through it, I didn't want to do what was necessary to make that money, realizing that a lot of the money making films are sometimes connected to people and things that are not great for the world.
Definitely. Yeah, if it doesn't align with your values and stuff, it's definitely best to yeah not be a part of it for your the sanity of yourself, right?
Yeah,
And so
exactly.
yeah, and so now that you've grown and with all those experiences, are you still looking for like making millions, and are you still looking to be that successful to like impress the people that you were trying to impress, or did that change throughout time?
Over my experiences, I've changed my perspective and just growing emotionally as a person.
Mm-hmm.
I think now I more value trying to contribute to help the people I care about in life. And if I could make some extra money that I can use to help people in need, then that would be meaningful to me.
Mm-hmm. And so, what would you say now success is for you? Like, what's the goal for to achieve success now?
Yeah, like I've been more focused on like spiritual success in terms of
Yeah.
finding peace within myself and trying to spread that peace to others and be a positive impact on people around me. And so I feel successful if I'm able to take care of myself and also be a support to the people I care about, like family and friends.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that's also what I've discovered through through growing up. Also keeping the ambitiousness going, obviously, but I feel like yeah, you give a bit more space for yourself, and instead of like stressing too much of chasing something that maybe you'll never be satisfied with, trying to fix your own peace is definitely, I think, the top priority that people should have, because if you can be your own best friend first and take care of yourself.
Yeah. And I think that's something we each have to realize ourselves. Like, no one could have told me back then that I wasn't focusing on the right things. I was so fixated on, no, I'm gonna make millions of dollars and that's the end of it, until I went through it and realized a lot of people I see who have a lot of money are not that happy. And so now I think I don't want to have that because I rather feel good inside. And there's a lot of people that have that, and that's success. If you see someone who's able to feel good inside, then that's really a good example of someone who's successful to look up to.
Yeah, definitely. And you mentioned a bit of a family as well. Is right now, what relationships are contributing to your day-to-day life or your well-being at the moment?
Yeah, like I have my parents and my sister who are supportive, and I care about them and like to do what I can to make sure they're okay. And I have a few close friends who are also aligned in terms of thinking about what they want to do in life to feel good and to help others feel good. And it's valuable to me to have them in my life and to be able to grow with them.
Yeah. And how do you think? How did those friendship? Did you have those friends like a long time ago, or?
Some of them are pretty recent. I met them through online and we related to certain sentiments that were shared.
Mm.
And then we quickly became close in terms of just having the same kinds of outlooks and goals. And
Okay, okay. And so the kind of the friends that you had in high school, if you had, I don't know if you had a lot of friends, but did they kind of fade away with time?
everyone kind of went in different directions for university and that kind of stuff. So I made different friends in college and had a few friends that I stayed in touch with from high school. But things are always changing because I find I relate to people that are going in the same direction as me in life. And let's say if someone has a family and they're thinking in terms of their family life, or they're living somewhere else, they're kind of not as related to my experience. So if someone is living a similar experience, we can relate to each other and find kinship that way.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, me too. A lot of people have drifted away, and different school and different aspirations, and I feel like after kind of 18 is where people kind of discover themselves and really started to grow into the adults that they were gonna become. I don't know if you had the same experience, but yeah, a lot of people felt very restricted in high school, especially because you still probably live with parents. And yeah, I've seen people go from completely another person after high school.
Like recently, I made friends with someone online who really aligns with my path, and we have good discussions about like emotions and philosophy and just how we see the world. And it's been meaningful to me to talk to them and try to see where we're going in life.
And how do you connect with them just through online, or do you usually I don't know, on a Saturday, do you go and go for a drink with them, or how do you keep connecting?
Online because they live in different countries.
Okay. Yeah, that doesn't help. Okay. And your family, do you see them often in person?
Yeah, so I live with my parents, so I see them.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I have a sister that lives in the city and we see her. So we're pretty close.
Oh, that's super, man. Having a family close by is always a perk. Even if right now you can have them over the phone or on a video call, fairly easy. I think having them close is something that helps you a lot, definitely. And okay, and you said or you mentioned to me that you had a mental condition, or you were diagnosed with that condition.
So when I was younger, I had a diagnosis of ADD
Mm-hmm.
and
How
I
young?
had some Pardon?
How young you were?
Oh, I was like 8 years old,
Oh, okay. Yeah, early. Yeah.
and they noticed I had some trouble focusing in class, and I had some extra help in high school where they offered me support. And mostly I was doing okay on my own. It's just I felt there was a lot going on at that time with socially learning how to interact with everyone and taking in all these new subjects. And then and later in life they diagnosed me with autism, which kind of made me understand a bit better what I was experiencing, all this overwhelm and just too much information coming at me to process.
Did that change your way you kind of view yourself, or did you just take that as a, oh, okay, that's why, but and then you just continue the way you were?
Yeah, a little bit. I think it changed how I see myself. It's like I was always different than other people in some ways,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't want to let any labels or diagnosis affect who I am because everyone's different.
Absolutely.
I think just what it did was help me understand how I might relate differently to others in terms of how there's certain normative social expectations that might be harder for me, and it would help me to explain to others. For instance, like uh, the employer at work I started at this job was saying I should smile more when I am talking to people.
From the an outside perspective, that's that's what the, and then did you develop like kind of a coping mechanism, or what kind of thing did you develop with time?
It just made me aware of how things might come across. So, like at the end of a sentence, I might be aware if I wasn't smiling, and then I smile at the end to show I'm happy if I'm not smiling the whole time. And that way people would know that I'm not speaking in a serious tone, that I'm upset or something.
Yeah, absolutely, and I can relate a little bit to that also, because I also was diagnosed with ADHD on my part, so hyperactivity and completely unable to focus on one task, right? So that is, and I've kind of got diagnosed very late, and the school was kind of challenging, and I've kind of surprised of myself that I was able to finish school and actually graduated. But yeah, I think if you're very aware of your flaws, or if you know, in our case, you and me, we can't focus on one thing, but we're aware of it, then it's super, not super easy, because it does take some time, but it's way easier to find a solution and say, oh my god, right now I'm not focusing, I need to focus on this task, I need to do this, plan my day. So you know, I think planning days and having a calendar here and there that with notifications on.
Like what you're saying, I also take a lot of notes and make schedules.
Mm-hmm.
And I was gonna say, like, sometimes having a lack of concentration can be a good thing. Like, we focus a lot on compliance and work and being the way that we're supposed to be, but being different can have advantages. Like, I'm working in cleaning at the mall, and if I'm always focusing on different things, and that's good. And like, oh, there's something on the ground, I could pick it up, and there's this going on. And being kind of disorganized can help me to be aware of a lot of things at once.
People that have ADD or ADHD are hyper aware. That is one advantage, or yeah, one difference that we have. But yeah, especially with human interactions, I pick up a lot of different things, and that obviously helped me build really strong relationships, because I can see, if you're lying to me or if you're really trying to portray a certain person that you are not, I will definitely pick it up and see it very fast. So I think that's the good thing that we have, and I'm sure there's a lot of people that have that too. But obviously, it manifests itself in different ways for different people. And yeah, and so, adults, we have to manage our finances ourselves, right? It's not anymore mom and dad that's just doing everything. But how did you learn about, like, when is the first time you think you kind of learn about uh, like banking or like just money in general?
From an early age in middle school, when I was around 10 or so, we had some courses about managing money. And I was really interested in learning about that and the stock market. I started tracking stocks when I was around 12 years old.
That's a long, that's early.
So I always had this interest in acquiring wealth and trying to figure out how to do well in finances.
And so when did you get your first debit card?
I think around then, when I was about 10 years old or so.
All right, okay. Who gave it to you? Your mom, your dad?
Yeah, I probably just had an account from them and didn't have my own card.
Oh, okay, but you had an account with money in it, and then they just gave you a card at one point.
Yeah.
And so from now on, did your parents teach you anything about money?
They're pretty good with saving and that kind of thing. Uh, yeah, they're savers and they know about budgeting. So they were always enforcing this idea of not spending all your money and to make sure that you know how much you have and to try to save money in a savings account.
When you started getting your first paycheck, what did you start spending your money on the most?
I was buying a lot of fast food and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you were a student, were you paying rent and stuff by yourself?
I was still living at home, so I didn't have rent. I just had expenses for that kind of stuff, like going out to eat or things like that with friends.
And so, right now, what do you think is the thing you struggle with the most in terms of your finance?
Stability. I haven't had a job until this week. I got a new job, and before I was just struggling a lot with finding ways to make money and to pay for things like groceries and expenses.
Okay, yeah, for sure. If the income is never stable, it's quite hard to plan in advance. Um, and what if because I do want to give you some feedback if possible. Um, but at the moment, are you investing at all, or saving at all?
Yeah, I will be once I start getting paid because I just started this week
Yeah.
and I'll be putting aside some money to have as a savings.
Like as a emergency fund, or are you talking about more savings for long term?
Yeah, a bit of both.
Okay. Do you have any investments at the moment? Because you said you were looking at the stock market. Do you have any investments?
Not right now. It kind of like I was in the same mindset as the films at that time when I did stocks, and I was trying to make huge increases and things didn't work out. So now I'm a more cautious with investments and I'm just looking to save up and have something that's stable, like physical commodities like silver or gold.
What kind of mistakes did you do? If you can just detail a little bit, not too much, but like, was it stocks, was it options? Did you trade crypto?
I had a lot of speculatory plays where I was trying to time the market crashes. So I was investing in like reverse indexes and trying to make money off of the stock market crashes or looking into startups that were high potential but high risk. and a lot of them were like penny stocks that didn't work out. And also during the cannabis rush in Canada, I was investing in some stocks, and I gave some advice to some friends that didn't work out, and then I felt bad because it was also very exciting and looks like a high potential.
Oh boy, yeah, cannabis stocks. I know so many people that went into it and that didn't work out. And I'm guessing if you're saying that you didn't have any, when you invested, you didn't have any stop loss or any limit order in place, or were just buying and forgetting about it.
Just buying and selling, trying to.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. So for if you're watching us right now and you want to invest into penny stocks or stocks that don't have a huge history background, first always play with money that you can lose. You probably learned that as well. And if you do put money into something that's high risk, you always want to put a stop loss on it. And unfortunately, it's not every single platform that have stop loss abilities, or it's a bit more complicated to put them on. But yeah, if you do some type of this type of trading, which we call either day trading or swing trading, yeah, it's apart from those, what lesson did you learn from that?
Yeah, just that a lot of times, just like in the films, there can be opportunities that play on your emotions. And if you invest emotionally in something,
Mm-hmm. Yes, especially yeah, trading is there's not supposed to be any emotions when it comes to trading, right? So it's and would you, going back, would you still if you had the chance to go back in time?
yes, like that's,
Or
I
you
believe
made the
that
mistakes?
things, yeah, I think things are meant to happen in a certain order. And like if I would have not made those mistakes, I wouldn't have learned. And then I probably would have made the same mistake in a larger scale. So I'm glad I didn't have a lot of money when I made those mistakes, so that once I do have money, I'll know not to put a lot into risky investments.
The same that I've learned at a smaller scale when I was still in school and still I was making a bit of money as well from small jobs, still being in school, and didn't know anything about finances. I think everybody kind of started this way of like investing into either crypto or stocks like cannabis stocks, or in COVID the pharma stocks. So yeah, there's but you're always going to learn from your mistakes, and you're not never going to do it again. So I think that's just part of the process.
Have you done any investment in crypto?
Yes, I have. But crypto is really a buy and forget from this area, and for me, I invested a long time ago, just before the first big rally, and yeah, I just invest in there, and then I don't touch it because yeah, it's just super volatile. It doesn't just doesn't follow any trends, and yeah, if anybody who wants to invest in crypto, I do recommend to always buy and forget, and not do day trading, because it's extremely hard, and there's not a lot of technique to back it up. There's always candles, patterns and stuff like that, but for crypto it's another game. So yeah, investing in crypto is definitely very high risk, and it has to be for the long term. So at least 5 year plus if you put some money in there, that's for sure. And that's just feedback. Yeah, so that's good. So we're talking about a lot of mistakes that you've done and stuff. Is there a particular time where you had a major step back, and how did you overcome it?
Yeah, like one that stands out was at the peak of my interest in film. I flew to LA with a business partner to try to pitch movies. And we were on such a high of this egotism and belief that we could do anything.
Yeah.
And I think that whole experience culminated in this kind of crash for me where I had this sudden realization that this isn't going to work out. We're kind of just living in our heads, and we get there and you kind of feel the vibe of the the very highs and lows of success and poverty in one spot. And you just kind of dawned on me that, oh, like, even if you believe you're going to be making millions of dollars at films, it's not going to happen just like that.
Mhm.
It's just like with the investments, you can believe all you want, but in reality, it's not likely at all. And to put all your hopes on something that's kind of like a lottery ticket is very dangerous. And once I realized, oh, we're invested in making these big films, so we paid money to come out here and are meeting people, but that's not how things work. You have to actually either have money to put in to hire the people that can get the celebrities involved to get it financed and have it profitable. Otherwise, you're just another person with a script.
Mhm. So did you think it was mostly a lack of preparation that you had, or mostly did you have too much expectations? What do you or both?
It's just like a naive arrogance and belief in the fact that despite the odds, we're going to be successful because we're just so smart and so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, of course. And you discovered that it had to be more efforts and relationships. So yeah, the expectations for you was to go to LA and become the next blockbuster.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people in the industry that play on that kind of delusional belief. So there's scammers and things which we encountered where there's like people who will say things like, "Oh, I know these celebrities. Just give me a check for 5 grand and I'll make it happen." And then
Mm.
they just take the money and get your hopes up. So there's a lot of, because that is the way things work. So there's no reason to believe that wouldn't happen, except for the fact that no one's going to sign on with a first time director to make a movie with a big budget. So if you have a script that is really so phenomenal that celebrities and big names want to be a part of it, you might get a deal, but you're not going to be the one involved in it. They're just going to cut you out. They'll
Yeah.
try to take the script for as little as possible because you don't know anything about the industry. So you can get messed over through the contracts or through any number of these things you don't understand.
Yeah, I know for sure. There's always people come trying to take money from other people without do any work. That's for sure. So what's the future goals now for you? What's the plans for the future?
So now I'm focused on my mental health and working on finding some stability. And I want to do what I can to help the people in my life. I used to have these big ambitions to help the world and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but just like with other things, you can't always do these grand things that you envision, or at least not right away. But I think focusing on the things I can do, the people I care about, doing everything I can for those people is what I feel good about in life. So I want to continue building those relationships and staying close to people I care about.
That's for sure. And your mental health first. So and what do you do for fun?
I like to do comedy. I do some stand-up comedy,
Yeah.
and I'm also still interested in artistic endeavors like the films, but not like a grand scale. Just if I can do something small, like short films that are meaningful, then that's cool to me.
Okay. And what do you think you're gonna post them? You gonna put them somewhere, or are you gonna do it in your town?
Yeah, so I have a website that does independent films called Late Flicks,
Okay.
and it's like late night films that I put out independent films on. And yeah, it'd be cool to show people some artistic stuff to see.
Definitely. So Harrison, if we had to have another call in 6 months, what is there something you would like to achieve within 6 months, or is it something you like? It could be about money, relationships, your movie stuff.
In that time, I'm trying to have a steady job and hopefully be advancing in this employment, save some money, and maybe buy a car.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm looking at in the future.
Super. So we'll probably uh, call you at that point within 6 months. I want to do a follow up with the guest and see how they progressed, and yeah, what you became basically. So, Harrison, well, thank you for being in this episode.
Thanks so much for having me.
Lovely. Thank you for staying until the end. I hope you liked my conversation with Harrison. This is the goal of this channel. We want to hear about as many stories as possible from as many people as possible. We want to bring people from different backgrounds, from different ages, and hopefully inspire you guys with their stories. So there will be multiple episodes coming out throughout the month of November, and please don't hesitate to tell me what is it that we need to upgrade or do better. We'll catch you on the next episode. Take care.